Hey everyone, Alex Wilson back again for the DBT download. Today I'm going to talk about dialectics, which is probably important to touch on since this whole podcast or YouTube channel, wherever you're watching me, is about dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. So, what does this word dialectics mean? It's super confusing, but I'm going to break it down for you in hopefully a really simple way. So, when somebody asks me, Alex, what is a dialectic? This is the example I always use. I say, imagine there's a chocolate cake on the table in front of you. You want to eat the cake because maybe you're hungry and it looks delicious and you really like chocolate cake. But you don't want to eat the cake because maybe you ate a whole cake yesterday and you're trying to cut down on sugar. Maybe dinner's only half an hour away. So you want to eat the cake and you don't want to eat the cake. These are total opposites, but they are true at the same time. And that's basically what a dialectic is, right? It's these things, these situations where there's opposite positions that are both true at the same time. And the reason this is helpful in therapy and in, personal growth, mental health improvement, all of that stuff, is because sometimes our brain tells us that we need to pick one or the other. Sometimes our brain will say you've either got to eat all the cake or have none of the cake, right? It's that very black and white thinking that we can sometimes fall into. And it can become a pattern where we start to notice real extremes showing up in our thinking and maybe even our behaviors. Certainly, our relationships can start to get quite extreme. So, dialectics helps us shine a light on this and notice, when am I in this sort of battle between opposites? And instead of choosing all or nothing, black or white, dialectical thinking is actually to find some kind of middle ground. Now, middle ground doesn't have to be smack bang 50% in the middle. It doesn't mean that I eat exactly half the cake. It just means coming out of those extremes, right? So there's lots of options between those two extremes. I could have a piece of cake now and give the rest away. Or I could not have a piece of cake now and I could wait until after dinner and then have one. Or I could decide no cake today, but I'll save some for tomorrow. There's a million different options between all of the cake and none of the cake. This is where we can start to develop a synthesis and a bit more harmony between extremes. Now, how is this relevant to therapy? Well, these dialectical struggles are often there when we're struggling with our mental health or something that's going on in life. Let's think about somebody who, thinks, oh, maybe I should go to therapy, right? What might be happening for them is a dialectic between I want to change and I don't want to change. There's something going on that they're like, I really would like to change that, or I'm not happy about it. But then there's another part of them that's like, I don't know if I fully want to change that. That seems hard or scary, or I'm not really sure how to do it, right? So I want to change and I don't want to change. Mistakenly, people can think this is an indication of a lack of motivation. It's not, right? It is the norm. We get in these internal struggles all the time. Nobody's 100% motivated all the time. And when it comes to change, if you were 100% motivated to change something, you would just change it and then just move on with your life, right? But if you're struggling to change something, it's because there's an internal battle going on. And what you don't need to do is pick one or the other. It doesn't have to be all the change right away or none of the change ever, right? There's all this middle ground in between that we can choose from. So I don't want to march into therapy and be like, everything's terrible. I'm terrible. I'm doing everything wrong. I need to change it all right now. The reason that's not great is number one, it's not possible to change everything right now. It may be not possible to change some things ever, right? Particularly if it involves other people or things that have happened in the past or things that are out of our control. But the other thing is that is incredibly stressful. If you are putting on your shoulders the responsibility to change everything right away, that is going to be very stressful and it's not going to be very sustainable. And it can be a little blamey on yourself, right? To say everything is wrong and I've got to change it all. But we don't want to go the other way, where we just lie in the corner and say, oh, well, there's no point trying. I'm just going to give up on change altogether. That's not good either, because there are some things that you might be able to change, which might be really positive. So the skill here is around, where do I push for change and where do I push for radical acceptance? Now, radical acceptance is a DBT term. It means accepting things that don't feel very acceptable. And there's lots of those things in life. So where am I going to put my energy to push for change, right? Where are the priorities? And then other things, I might need to take a more soft, accepting approach. This is what's going to help me create more of a sense of harmony, more of a sense of balance in my life and in my behaviors, and hopefully more of a sense of peace. So I hope that makes sense. I'm talking here about dialectics that happen within us. I'm going to talk in another episode about dialectics that can happen between us and other people. So if you're interested in this topic, you can catch that as well. As always, if you want to talk more about DBT, please reach out. I'd love to chat. Okay,